John felt the weight of the world on his shoulders, a weight heavier than the near-empty wallet he carried. He'd lost his job weeks ago, a cruel twist of fate in a struggling economy. The job hunt was proving fruitless, each rejection chipping away at his hope. His small apartment, once a haven, now felt like a cage of despair. That morning John had received an eviction notice. He sat on a park bench staring blankly at the notice, the words blurring through his tears. $20. That's all he had left to his name. $20 and a heart full of despair. The park was alive around him, children laughing, dogs chasing squirrels, birds chirping a carefree melody. But John felt disconnected, shrouded in his own private storm of worry. What was he going to do? Where would he go? His heart ached with a pain that ran deeper than any hunger pang. As John sat lost in his thoughts, a shadow fell across his lap. He looked up to see a homeless man, his face weathered and worn, his clothes threadbare and dirty. The man's eyes, though, held a spark of kindness that shone through the grime. "Excuse me, sir," the homeless man said, his voice rough but gentle. "I haven't eaten anything in 2 days. Could you spare some change for a meal?" John hesitated. He knew the value of every penny, especially now. He could buy himself a loaf of bread and a carton of milk with that $20. It might be the last decent meal he'd have for a while. But something in the man's eyes, a quiet desperation that mirrored his own, tugged at John's heart. He looked at the worn-out shoes, the calloused hands, the weary slump of the man's shoulders. He saw a reflection of his own struggles, a shared humanity that transcended their circumstances. John took a deep breath, a silent goodbye to his last $20. He pulled out the crumpled bill and placed it in the homeless man's outstretched hand. "Here," John said, his voice barely a whisper. "Get yourself something to eat." The homeless man stared at the $20 bill in his hand, his eyes wide with surprise. He looked up at John, his face a mixture of disbelief and overwhelming gratitude. "Sir," he stammered, his voice thick with emotion, I don't know what to say." John simply nodded, a lump forming in his throat. He didn't need words. The look on the homeless man's face was thanks enough. In that moment, the weight on John's shoulders felt a little lighter, replaced by a warmth that spread through his chest. He might have given away his last $20, but he had gained something far more valuable. Tears welled up in the homeless man's eyes, blurring his vision. "Sir," he choked out, "you have no idea what this means to me. This is more than just a meal. This is a second chance." He clutched the $20 bill to his chest, as if it were a lifeline. He promised to repay John's kindness, though John waved away his words. He knew the man didn't have to repay him anything. The act of giving, of showing compassion in the face of his own hardship, was its own reward. As the homeless man walked away, a sense of peace settled over John. He didn't have a solution to his problems, but he had found a glimmer of hope in the most unexpected place. He realized that even in the darkest of times, a single act of kindness could spark a light. The next morning, John received a call that changed everything. It was from a company he had interviewed with weeks ago. They had initially rejected him, but a position had opened up, and the hiring manager was impressed by John's resume and demeanor. As John started his new job, he couldn't shake the feeling that his act of kindness had played a part in his change of fortune. He never saw the homeless man again, but he carried the memory of their encounter close to his heart. It was a reminder that even in the face of adversity, kindness has the power to transform lives, sometimes in the most unexpected ways. John learned that day that sometimes the greatest rewards come from giving, not receiving. He learned that true wealth is not measured in dollars and cents, but in the kindness we share and the compassion we show to others. He learned that even a $20 miracle could change a life, starting with his own.